Ay, 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 ay. We're alive. We made it. The Lucky Sevens instead of the Five Idiots. The Lucky Seven. Oh, I saw that movie. A great movie. Denzel Washington. Chris Pratt. What's going on, Sherelle? Oh, I see. 7 stream. Oh, I see. I see. That's what that all means. That's what it's from. How's everyone doing? Had a pretty good day today. Pretty good day. I am happy to report that yeah, I can indeed confirm that I figured out what the TikTok bug was, because I've just re-uploaded a couple of the ones that I already uploaded a while back, and lo and behold, they're out into the ether actually now. So I think my favorite one is this Kai one, King of the Gnomes. Oh, which by the way, Kai, Kev, would you buy me a hurdy-gurdy? I could. Is it like $10? Then yeah, maybe. Then perhaps. Which, by the way, Kai, I don't know if you ever actually saw it. Cause you're curious what it looked like, right? I don't know if I ever showed it to you. This is what it actually looked like.
Yo, it's so many. Why is that so many? No. King of the Gnomes. King of.
That's what all the gnomes look like.
King of the Gnomes.
Later that same evening.
Everyone, wait, no, don't go in yet.
There's more!
Oh my god, there's so many gnomes.
That's what it looked like. So, good stuff, good times indeed. I'm gonna bump this up by like 10% here. Amazing. But yeah, so I'm happy that it works. I'm just gonna re-upload some stuff. This gives me the incentive to finish just cutting up and uploading some of the highlights here and there. I have a bunch of highlight videos stocked up on the highlight channel. They're just unpublished right now. I can go publish them one day. I think my plan right now is just to build up a huge stockpile, so I don't have to worry about it. Let me do this real quick. Oh, let me go turn this fan on. It's a little bit warm. It's a wee bit warm. We hit the 1-3-2, baby. 1, a 3, a 2. Let me turn that on. Turn it on. Saw a short of a new monster in Lethal Company. Oh yeah, did the new update come out? That new update, or was it only just announced? Mr. Owl does not approve. A 1, a 3, a 2. Isn't that how it goes? Right? That's how you count. Right? Ain't that how you count? It's already out. It's out. $398. Look at that. Anyway, how's everyone doing today? Oh. I am happy to report that I am... I think I'm around the halfway point of the last season of Walking Dead, finally. It's basically the show that I watch while I eat, so that's when I'll watch it. So it's taking a little while, but I think I'm around halfway there. We're finishing it out at some point, someday, one day. Ugh. I'm gonna go deliver my fish. Think. Archmatron Angelfish. 2. Okay, we can do that. Easy peasy. Some YouTuber told me once the viewership dropped tremendously once they killed off Glenn. I believe that is the case from what I understand as well. Forgot. Turn this off. So this don't work no more for me. Part of it too is like the quality of the show did kind of deteriorate starting from around there too. It was just like the pacing of it. It was like they started. It was one of those things, which I'm sure it contributed where they like the episode numbers like kept increasing, right? So it's like, okay, new season, we got to have 5 more episodes or whatever. And then the pacing of some of those seasons were definitely a lot slower. It just felt like a lot of filler. And then another thing is like the focus of the show definitely changed up, right? Nice, we got our experience. Because the first whatever 5-6 seasons, it was very much like, okay, we have this group and they're trying to survive in the zombie apocalypse, and it's them versus the zombies, and there's the human villain here and there. So there's very much that like fight for survival. And then eventually the show grows into okay, zombies are kind of like they're kind of like a secondary thing, even though they're like always present, right? But it's more like human versus human conflict and what that's all about. That could be another reason why. That's when you stop watching. Yeah. I think how they did it too was at the end of one season they killed off a main character who I don't think was supposed to be killed off there, but they killed him off there. And then there was like a whole wait, and then in the next season that's when the Glenn thing happened in the first episode, in like the first 15 minutes. So yeah, I think that's what this person has the Zidane outfit. I think that I think that happens a lot in a lot of shows, right? Especially if there's like cast members who are beloved, and my mom just texted me. But yeah, right? Think about a lot of favorite shows, and if, a favorite cast member is written off in some way, even though the Glenn thing is supposed to be canon, right? Well, I gotta text this mother real quick. Texted the mother. Mother has been texted. But yeah, y'all get what I mean. It's very polarizing, right? When Negan gets introduced, like the tone of the show changes quite differently. In that next like season, like when the season of when that happens, like because Negan gets introduced at the end of the previous season, it's such a huge tone shift too, right? And it's like I could totally see viewers, being kind of like put off about it, especially viewers again who are the ones who are there who are like, oh, like, you know, I love these characters, I just want to be here to see what happens to these characters. And then in that next season they're basically just getting their ass punched in. They're basically like, you know, working slaves and all that. So it could totally be, but the pacing of it is really was really bad. Could also be fatigue, right? I think whether people admit it or not, or realize it or not, I think that a lot of that, and that's in combination with, you know, our writing choices or changing in writing and how they choose to continue developing the show. But I think fatigue is a huge thing, for sure. Definitely a big thing. What level is my Fisher now? I'm level 95. You know what? I'm gonna go to the frickin' moon. How about that? I'm gonna go to the moon. I'll go to the moon because I haven't been there in a hot second. I'm gonna go check it out. We chillin'. How do I get there? I go here. I think Lost was the show that made you extremely aware. Yeah, and the thing is too with like Lost was one of those shows that like I was like on like I don't know what the right word is, like public television, I believe, right? It wasn't like, you know, HBO. And remember when HBO you had to like buy the channel, right? I guess even now you need like a subscription to it, right? So they were very much like catering to your more everyday audience. And in so doing, right? Again, if we look it up, let's see. Lost episodes by season. Like they have a shit ton of freaking episodes. Season 1, 10 episodes. Wait, no. Season 1 had 25 episodes. Season 1 already had 25 episodes. Season 2, 24. Like these are 20-something episode seasons, right? And then they have like a shit ton of seasons. And these are like, you know, 40-something. Yo, it's so dead. Granted, it's 10 o'clock on a Tuesday evening, but there's like no one in these bitches anymore. Oh no. Well, we're here. We're gonna go check it out. What are we at right now? How are we doing on our? It's been a hot second. We're on level 12 now. I can't mount in here. I'm sad about that. I keep forgetting about that. What do we build? Do we have? Is this a new thing? Okay, let's look at the thing real quick. What did we build? Cosmoport and hangars completed. Oh, okay. Yeah, the Cosmoport and the hangars. Very cool. Are the hangars over here? Yeah. Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I was like season 1 of Lost, I remember feeling like that was really good. Season 2, I remember being pretty good. Somewhere around season 3 to 4, it was kind of like, you know. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go sign up for like a mech op or something. Let's just we chill. I'm gonna do some of these missions here. You know, might as well. So your phone showed you news that 14 is still losing players, so even if patch 7.2 is warmly received, it feels like the Wheel of Time situation. I don't know what the Wheel of Time situation is, but like for the people who played it, they're a fan, but it's not good enough to get them to just their friends. Where do we even like see this like data? Like where do they present this data? Or are we just basing this off Steam charts or? Month over the last year. How do I expunge this? Active player IO. Wheel of Time situation is season 3 is their best season by far, but the first 2 seasons were so problematic no one cared to watch it, thus leading to its cancellation. Yeah. Well, I mean, Final Fantasy, first of all, from the very core of Final Fantasy 14, right? The very basis of Final Fantasy 14, and a lot of like the current players can agree that it has the stereotype, which, you know, the true stereotype of like, you know, if you're gonna go, you got to get through a Realm Reborn, and depending on what your interests are, you know, there's a lot of expansion. Like, you got to get through a Realm Reborn, right? It takes, give it time for it to get good, right? So that's already, it was already like that from the start. As far as Dawntrail, I'll probably bring it up in my, whenever I'm planning on cutting up the footage now to start creating a script around it when I talk about the Occult Crescent. But it's like, you know, when it comes to Dawntrail, it's like, especially with the mixed reception of Dawntrail at the start, it's like, how come they don't release something like this, like Occult Crescent and Lunar Shenanigans, like towards the beginning of the expansion, right? When people are playing and you like want to, you know, Yoshi P says, oh, you know, it's not the type, like, they want people to still play the game, right? This is like their biggest moneymaker, as far as I understand, right? Even though he says like, oh, you come and go as you please, right? I don't understand why they don't like release this like earlier. Like, I wonder if that thought even crossed their mind. Like, surely someone brought that up, like, right? I don't know what the reasoning is aside like development schedule. Like, surely, I mean, clearly, right, they had a development schedule that they planned at some point. But in the creation of that development schedule, right, and once you kind of have it locked in, it's like, you know, I know how resources, you know, just based off my experience in a corporate world, creating a product, right, you have like a schedule, and once that's like kind of set in stone, it's very hard to delineate from it. But at the staging process, it's like, I wonder if someone brought up that idea. I wonder if current job market / economy has anything to do with it. I'm sure there's like some minor there's probably some minor correlation to that too. It could definitely be something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if that's like, right, part of the holistic reason for it. I think part of it too is like, I like to look at the numbers for myself because I'd be curious to see it, but it's like, you know, with the WoW Exodus and the Shadowbringers peak, I suppose, is that one? Yeah, right. Like how much that like just inflated numbers, and then like it'd be good to look at the data from the viewpoint of, okay, this is when like 3.0 released. Here's kind of the way the numbers work, you know, after any like 0.0 release, right? Because from what I understand, after every 0.0 release, there is like a dip, because people just like come for the story and whatnot. So how drastic is that dip compared to other expansions, right? There's a lot of things to consider when you talk about like these. And I'd like to see, and again, when we talk about Final Fantasy 14, a lot of it for me is like, I don't have any frame of reference. I don't know how other MMOs behave. We talk about like, you know, content in this game. I don't know what content's available. Like, people talk about there being no content or the cadence of content here. Like, I have nothing to compare it to. I just don't have that frame of reference. Same thing with like player counts, player bases, etc. Like, are MMOs down as a whole, right? That's something to consider, right? There's a lot of different ways to think about it. Oh my god, the moon is so developed. Our moon is pretty developed, it feels like. I don't know how many parts are going to be here. Y'all said there's going to be like 20. This is going to take a while because there's not that many people on the moon these days. Hey, what's going on, Volpini? I remember the name of the unofficial tracker now. It's called Lucky Band Show. Lucky Bancho. We can look at that. The Diaspora Lodestone. Okay, this is giving. There's a lot of stuff here. Birth months. Is something like not populating here, or I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna have to like look around this bitch for a hot second here. I feel like there's supposed to be something here that I'm not seeing, like numbers, but there are like no numbers here or something. Some people do the 0.0 patch, then don't come back until 0.55 to finish the story. Yeah. Totally see that. Because when you think about it, since Dawntrail released and, you know, all the content that we've gotten with the patches, I feel like most of it's been like raid content, right? And, you know, I know there's a sizable portion of the player base that partakes in raids, but that, I don't know what the percentage actually is. But I feel like when I just think of it as a whole, the first thing that comes to mind is like, yeah, there's just been a lot of raid stuff coming out. They highly buff the amount of progress people do, so less people are needed. Yeah, I'm sure they're adjusting for participation here. There's no way that they're not adjusting as we continue developing here. Right. The graph makes it look like Dawntrail right now has fallen below Shadowbringers launch. It is pretty rough right now with player counts. I can't even. Can you send me like the actual graph? I'm something's wrong here, clearly. Can never get a fizz range in PF ever. Yeah, I feel like you were having trouble filling groups, even like towards the beginning of the new tier, right? I feel like I haven't heard you run into that problem. Like the last time I remember that problem being brought up was when I was trying to fill on Crystal, like many years ago, right? You're all the prongs. The prongs, baby. Speaking of prongs, that reminds me of prawns, which reminds me of like crawfish. TikTok has been. Oh, by the way, I'm almost back down to 180 from my 187 peak after I came back from my trip. How much of that was extra bloat? Who knows? A couple pounds maybe. Almost back down to 180 from there. But TikTok has been recommending me a bunch of like crawfish boil videos and like jambalaya, like basically like, you know, southern kind of mass cooking videos, and that does not help. It just makes me hungry, and you know, but it looks delicious. All right, what's this one? English. Google Translate. Is this the thing? Is this the player count? What's this? Every expansion saw growth between 0.0 and pre X.1 censuses. Shadowbringer, oh no, Stormblood 663,000 to 830,000, 943 to 120, Endwalker 1.3 to 1.7, and then 1.4 to 1.1. Oh, so this is the first expansion that hasn't seen growth from the 0.0 to the 0.1, which is interesting. Now, so that's already going against the grain. So the basically the WoW Exodus kind of happened like right around like Shadowbringers launch, I feel, right? So that they 2.5 or 250,000. I'll just say 2.5. Endwalker saw a huge freaking boom here. 400,000. again, you know, part of it is like I'm wondering. So there's already a gap here, right, between Endwalker and Dawn Trail, right? This is, you know, from this number, and again, this is only to the 0.1, but I guess we can extrapolate to maybe like the end of the patch cycle of 0.55 or whatever. Right, 830,000 to 940, so it grew from in between Stormblood and Shadowbringers, 943,000 to 122. Should I here? I'll zoom in so you guys a little bit better. So even this grew 100,000 here, end of Shadowbringers to Endwalker, and then end of Endwalker to Dawn Trail. Like that's the, you know, it shrunk then, and then it shrunk from the launch of Dawn Trail, or the end of Endwalker to Dawn Trail, and then the start of Dawn Trail to the 0.1. Later Shadowbringers. It's also the first expansion that is starting a completely new story, so there's going to be some fall off considered. Well, that was, you know, that's part of one of the reasons I was thinking of too, right? Because there's already a drop off from the end of Endwalker, or, you know, 0.1 Endwalker, maybe extrapolated to 0.55 Endwalker to the 0.0 Dawn Trail, right? They already lost numbers there. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of it was this, at least this fall off here from end of Endwalker to beginning of Dawn Trail, was either people who are like, you know, they're here for the story, and then that arc concluded and they're like, okay, you know what, like maybe I'll come back again at some other time, like I'm cool for now. And then like WoW Exodus too, right? Kind of players who came over from WoW, but like if we try to look at the climate of that, right, it feels like a lot of like the creators, and it's not like I have like the strongest pulse on this, but it's just kind of what I see, right? A lot of like WoW creators who came over to play 14, like they're back to WoW, right? WoW was like the worst thing then, but now it's like they're back to WoW, right? So they weren't here to stay, and you know, as some creators move, so do some people who follow them, right? They come to 14 and then now they go back. WoW Exodus was after 5.3 when the free trial got expanded to 60. Was the WoW Exodus after? Because I started playing 2 weeks after Shadowbringers launched, after the 0.0. And I remember like Asmongold was already playing then, because Sorel always reminds me of that. I feel like it had already begun by then, right? Keep in mind that's not what those numbers say. Yeah, I know he's talking about the 0.0 to the 0.1, but I don't have the 0.55 data. So at some point between 0.1 and the previous 0.1 and the next 0.0, players were lost. That's basically what I'm saying. That was mid to late Shadowbringers? Really? I could have sworn this Asmongold FFX IV. First time playing. When did this release? Give me the actual date. July 3rd, 2021. Shadowbringers release. Okay, so I mean, I feel like the lead. Okay, so this was posted on July 3rd. So, and Shadowbringers released on July 2nd. Oh, it's 2021. Wait, what? 2019. What was I thinking of? Oh, I got that wrong in my video. I think. Did I actually start playing before? What's the date on this? Where is that? I have all of these recordings still. ARR. My first recording, no. Where was that? Over here. It's not over here. Maybe it's in here. It's probably in this folder. It's not in this folder. It could be in this folder. It's not in this folder. I had it somewhere. XIV. I think it was like, oh, it's over here. Episode 1. Oh, I did have it right. Oh, okay. Wait, Sorel. Wait, was Sorrel gaslighting me this whole time? I started playing on July 16th. Asmongold didn't even play then. But Sorrel says the only reason, and I even believed it, Sorrel says the only reason I started playing was because Asmongold started playing. But I started playing before Asmongold, assuming that this was uploaded. Wait, 2021? Oh, never mind. Never mind. I'm not looking at my year. Okay, I got that part wrong in the video. Maybe Sorrel was right. I got that wrong in the video. I read this as 2019. Okay, so I lied in the video. That was a factually incorrect statement that I had made. But yeah, regardless if this is 0.1, or it could be 0.1 or 0.55, it doesn't matter. The fact is that, you know, by the end of Endwalker to the beginning of Dawntrail, there was already a drop in player base. That's basically what I was trying to say. Yeah. You're playing longer than I thought. I guess I was playing longer than I thought too. Yeah. I would contribute a lot of... Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say unless you like poll players. Like, why did you stop? I imagine a lot of this had to do with inflated WoW numbers and the end of like an arc. And from what I remember, you guys were talking about, you guys said like the content cycle, or not even the, maybe the cycle, but just like the content in Endwalker, you guys were kind of like mid about that, right? Endwalker was okay overall. I guess one thing that, I mean, okay, if we're looking at this, like, the current state of Dawntrail is less than what the Shadowbringers 0.1 peak was. I think, you know, part of it too is probably COVID, right? It'd be interesting to look at like adjacent games like World of Warcraft, gaming as a whole in general. But like, right, in COVID, like so many people were just like they were picking up gaming, right? But that's dwindled down. Like people are back. Wasn't Endwalker just the DNC dungeons? They did have that, didn't they? That was Endwalker, right? That was Endwalker, right? Yeah. Yeah. I guess we'll see. You have to look at these numbers from. You'd be curious to see how these numbers continue to develop. Is 2024. I think the COVID thing's a big thing. Oh, here's a nice little graph. Look at that. Look at that. I don't know what the green means. It means something. I think this graph. Something about this graph doesn't make sense. At least for this Endwalker portion. It said that Endwalker. Again, I don't know what the color codes on the graph are actually are. From Endwalker launch, the 0.0 to the 0.1, it grew 400,000, but this graph doesn't show that. Unless I'm probably reading this graph wrong, but this is a steady decline, as it is. This probably has to do with the color coding here. Need to understand what that. I like the Criterion dungeon type stuff, or whatever it's called. I didn't do them all though. Multiple types of peoples and regions. Whatever this means, because green, this whole bar is green. At first I was thinking green was more along the lines of like, do players add it or something, but then that wouldn't make, like, you know? Yeah, I'd be curious to look at like WoW numbers. Can we see that? World of Warcraft player count? The daily. It's a monthly. I like to see like yearly. And then if there was some way that I could capture the MMO category as a whole, look at those numbers, and then look at gaming as a whole. But I don't know how to get that kind of data. Aside Googling it, who knows what you might. Okay, this one doesn't want to load. WoW live player count and population. 300. So this doesn't even go back super far. Is this even? Let's Google. Exerto. You have access to that data. Oh, you might actually, yeah. How? Okay, you're in a different. You're still in the gaming space. It's a very different kind of gaming space. So it could definitely behave differently depending on, But in your space, how have player counts for your game and just say mobile gaming in general? I mean, it's very hard. But how is that like moved over the past couple of years, especially like before COVID, during COVID, and after COVID? But mobile gaming is so different too, right? It's so easy for someone to like pick up the phone and play. Right. It'd be interesting to see that. You have the real numbers? Well, if you want to do some digging, you get us some 14 numbers, some World of Warcraft numbers, some general MMO numbers, and gaming as a whole numbers. I'd actually be curious to see that. That would be kind of interesting, TBH. But we've said that this drop could be because of so many reasons, right? COVID, WoW Exodus, the end of an arc, but it could also very well be like again, the story didn't resonate with a lot of people. It's the beginning of a new story. The writing is definitely sus. It feels right. It could be in a lot of people's eyes, right? The actual quality, like you don't have to ignore that. The actual quality of the game. Again, it's kind of hard for me to judge because I haven't been around that long and I haven't been caught up long enough to have experienced like every expansion in full. But yeah, that could very well be on the decline, and maybe the numbers are also matching that. It's a whole melting pot of reasons why this could be happening, right? But if that is the case, I mean, the best thing is, right, people vote with their wallets. If the numbers keep declining, then hopefully that sparks like some change, right? Improvement. You have better numbers than Stormblood? Yeah, active player wise. That's kind of interesting. I would say I would have my ballpark guess would have been I for all I knew, like your numbers I figured could be like way larger than like the peak of Endwalker because it's a like a mobile game, you know? Like a very accessible one. And one that like kind of caters to a wider audience, I feel like. Oh, you're talking about 14. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is still better than. I mean, according to this, right? This is still higher than Stormblood, but you have to look. I think it's best to look at this like percentage in a percentage sort of way. Percentage drop, percentage gain between each sort of. Okay, that's what I thought, right? Yeah, that's what I figured. Would be interesting to explore because I hear people talking about this all the time too. Is like Square Enix's like revenue, how much the game generates for them, right? Because from what I hear and I understand, and maybe I might have seen some random numbers here and there that support this, but who knows how accurate they are. That 14 is like their biggest breadwinner, right? But then how much of that money is like reinvested back into the game? So, being the biggest... Oh, I'm AFK here. Yeah. We'll have to see how the rest of the patches pan out as well. I don't even know what, like... We've gotten the Cosmic Exploration, and we've gotten the Occult Crescent, the Field Op. Is there any other, like, big... planned content drops coming, or are they just, like, updates of... this that's already here? The shadow looks kind of sus, I'm not gonna lie. It's growing. It's a grower. Anyway. Okay, so we're getting a deep dungeon. Anything else? Your game makes a year right now like 36 times what FF14 makes in an average. I don't doubt it. Mobile games make a shit ton of money. I always see it posted sometimes because I played like gacha games before, so I like have looked up gacha stuff in the past. Gacha, and there's always this like gacha. There's always this graph that I see every now and then from like subreddit where show the. And this is just gacha games, right? But when you look at like mobile games here, how much did they make? Honkai Star Rail in April of 2025 made $100 million. I'm assuming that's what this number means. Yo, what the? Yeah, that's a shit ton of money in mobile games, right? I don't even know how much like 14 makes. I don't have that like reference. That $100 million did kind of look like an outlier because the previous month was like 20 something million. So that's, you know, still impressive, an impressive amount of money. Beastmaster, another variant dungeon, right? Yeah, I imagine your game makes a lot of money because I feel like your game appeals to like such a wide audience base. An ultimate. Right. Yeah. I guess time will tell, huh? It's interesting to think about, for sure. I think, yeah. I think there's a lot of merit to a lot of the the options that we discuss. Again, there's no singular reason. It's a conglomeration of multiple reasons, right? Including the actual state of the game, because clearly, like, people have been displeased with the actual state of the game, right? And just because, you know, I enjoy the current state of the game, right, doesn't mean that there isn't a consensus around that opposes how I feel, right? Games are very volatile too, huh? There's a lot of games are volatile. I know the business. I heard stories about the game development business as a whole. There's also a lot of like options out there. Maybe for MMOs, not so much, but like gaming in general. And you could probably bet that like a lot of MMO players are playing non-MMO games too. But there's so many different options too, right? Like people are able to pick and choose what they want to play. And they're accessible, right? You just get them digitally, and at the push of a button, you can have a new game that piques your fancy, ready to play. You no longer have to go to Hollywood Video or Blockbuster. Or what mom says you could take one game, we'll come back in a week or two, and you can pick a different game. Those were the days. That was such a huge decision. I had to be sure of what I wanted. Some of them were duds. Some of them were great successes. But even with the duds, I had fun with them because that was my game for the next week or two. Hell yeah. Dude, I remember. God, there were so many like games that looked okay. Like when I was a young kid, I feel like they had games that were like more like adult oriented. I'm trying to think of one of the names, and those were like the ones that I dared not like pick and like bring to my mom to like rent out. What was one of them called? But you know, as a young boy, they always piqued my interest. But I was like, I could never do that. You know what I mean? Like some of those games. I feel like they had like a lot of like, you know, risque kind of games back then. Oh, like Leisure Suit Larry. Yeah, something like that. I dare not. Same thing with like if my mom was like, oh, pick out like a movie or something. Like I see like a South Park thing there. I would always go look at like, you know, the South Park section or whatever. But I was like, I dare not bring this to my mom to rent out. I will not make an attempt to provoke the mother in any way or form. I will not bring any ire down upon me. For all I know, she probably would have been like, fuck it, because she let me watch like so much crazy shit anyway when I was younger. But apply as pilot. Sure, we'll apply as a pilot. Anyway. Yeah, we'll see how things develop here. I'll start cutting up the Occult Crescent footage shortly. See what kind of script I can produce out of it. See what kind of clips and stuff I could use to make a video. What did you say, Kev? I wasn't listening. I said, yo mama. Yo mama. I was talking with Drac the other day, and he was just kind of, in general, he was talking about how his numbers were just down for like YouTube videos and stuff too. I wonder if that's like the same for a lot of other 14 creators, which, you know, probably just kind of coincides with the player drop and the interest in the game. Of course I got the mech op. I'm probably one of the only people who applied to be in this mech op here. Oh yeah, Noel, you can confirm. Are the grinding gear guys, I don't know how privy you are to the numbers, but have they seen a decrease just kind of as a whole? Apparently everyone has their numbers now. Yeah, I could imagine that. Yeah, the COVID times are over, right? There's I feel like there's a lot of interesting data to be seen looking at gaming as a whole in some way. What about you, Kev? Has your stream audience decreased as a whole? No. No. It hasn't. Actually hasn't. I still see the same faces here that I remember seeing as a whole, right? Damn, these things just repopulated like that. It's hard to derive any analytics from someone were to ask me based on my experiences, because what we have here is very small. Small but strong, right? Small but mighty. So this little corner of the 14 internet was always built off of the small but strong. Actually, I'm gonna use this thing over here. Let me go knock out these balls. The few, the proud, the Marines. There's a degree of separation, but it seems it's basically what the YouTube rep told GG. Numbers are down. Numbers are down overall for gaming, or just numbers are down overall for YouTube? Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, I like looking at data here and there, right? I was always kind of like a math guy, a numbers guy, to a certain extent, right? But I'm also someone who believes in feelings, and your experience, your personal experience. I forgot I moved this over here. I wonder what percent of your stream audience is from Barbarizia. Anyone here who is not Noel, Keylime, or Sorel, or Horn? Is after Barbarizia. Or, you know, before, during, or after Barbarizia. I'm looking at my names. Or Sudabachi. Sudabachi was from the before times. Flu was from the before times. I'm just kind of thinking of names that might pop up here and there. Actually, looking at my friends list is one way to look at it too, because once we start getting to this like Ace Envy section of the friends list here, and Soul, I have Soul here still, right? That was like, after the raid times, or you know, occur during or after the raid time. I know I'm from Barb. Hey, Barb! Barb! Who is Barb? Oh, have you any of y'all seen the Trailer Park Boys? That's what I'm thinking of. Barb. Barb is one of the characters in the Trailer Park Boys. Let me go do some of these fishing missions, which I don't think I'm strong enough to do these B ones still, so I'm gonna go do some of these bitches. And what was our strategy? We're doing the collection one because that was the best one to do. I think so again, one of the reasons I've been feeling really good is because I'm like caught up on projects. I think one of the things, like, ultimately I believe a video takes as long as it takes to get done, etc. And if you make something good, eventually people will, you know, see it, and all that matters is the people who see it. I think one of the things that I could do better on like the YouTube front is being, you know, not taking, and I've told you guys this many times, not taking, you know, 1 to 2 months to complete a video, which is why I'm gonna be cutting up the Occult Crescent stuff like rather soon, so I can actually get something out. So that's what I'm gonna try to do with the 14 stuff. Bring out some videos a little bit earlier, not take as long. I was also kind of thinking of making videos that were at least like here and there, not like focusing on this, but maybe like making at least one, something that was a little bit more, what was I looking for? I was looking for, okay, we're gonna do this strategy, something a little more like evergreen and accessible to a broader audience. That's you know what I mean? I'm not saying it's gonna be this, right? But like something like 10 things I love about Final Fantasy 14. You know, like something like that. You know what I mean? Something that kind of just like, oh, this is the one. This is the one I love. Also, do I have a green thing? I don't have a green. Also, here, I'm gonna eat one of my foods because I have so many of these food things. I was thinking about doing something like that, just to might be good to throw one of those in or there. And again, that's me kind of just thinking from like if I was just thinking from like a growth sort of perspective, something very just accessible in that manner. No, because a lot of the videos I make here are very much centered around more personal community. Did I catch something? Do I have this thing? I need that thing. I wouldn't mind like collaborating on it, right? Like, you know, getting ideas from you guys, like make it like this is what my community, like the 10 things that my community like, or like 10 things that we think could be improved. You know what I mean? 10 just seems like a good number, right? Everyone uses that number, but you know what I mean? Some stuff like that here, perhaps. Pressing the wrong buttons. I could never catch anything. I'm so weak. But I think the main one for me is, okay, so since we could look at it after I finish this mission. Right, remember guys, ARM, right? That's how we're, just as I remember you guys in different arcs and time periods, right? Like Sorrel was the OG, and like Noelle and Keyline are from the before times. When I think about the videos that I make, there is a yes, we caught one. There is a oh, I should use this. I'm gonna use that. There is a kind of a break that I would consider, right? The AR after Randy Marsh, ARM, right? That's like that cutoff. ARM are like videos that I've tried to do something different with, or incorporate or in trying to improve in editing and storytelling and just ways that I present videos. making a concerted effort to do that, which I've been very proud of. I feel like there's been some like really cool stuff that we've created. I just think the only thing is I haven't, since when did Randy Marsh come out? That was like 2 years ago or something, or was that a year ago? Time is weird, right? But there's really only been like a handful of videos that I made since then, right? And I don't want to just make videos for the sake of, you know, spamming the feed and just saying I put something out there. I still want it to be something that I can be proud of. But I feel like I do need to just make more. I think 1 year. Yeah, I'll look at it right after this. Usually this mission is so easy for me. Let me just catch this collectible fish here real quick. Like a boss. Come on, give me that big collectible thing. Yo, what the hell, dude? March of 2024, so just over a year. Okay. Yeah, in that time frame, you know, there's been some big projects between them. And they've taken some time. But there's only been like a handful of releases. 3 years of Final Fantasy 14, the fishing video, the PvP video, Dawn Trail review, that's 4. I might be missing one more, but there's like, 4 or 5. Sorrel, what the hell's going on here? This was supposed to be the easy mission. I'm gonna catch this bitch. Spamming videos is the only way to prog making videos you're proud of quicker. That is true, right? There is a lot of merit to... I feel like one of my struggles is... there's a little bit of paralysis, right? Because in my mind, I have like a grand vision. Right? And it has to be a certain quality or standard or epicness, right? This certain vision. And that in itself is like very daunting to kind of just approach with that sort of expectation. And I talked about this with H2O quite a bit, right? Because H2O does writing, and it's like in the creation process, there often comes a time where it's like, you guys hear me say it all the time, right? It's like, it's time to finish this video. Like, I'll be working on a video for a while, and it's like, I need to move on to the next project, right? I think there's merit to like some sort of repetition and quantity, right? Because in the end, it's all... I'm about to fail this mission that I never freaking fail. Dude, are you serious right now? Hold up. Hold up. Silly moonfish. Dude, have I lost my touch? Have I lost my pizzazz? Oh my god, dude, I suck. I freaking suck. Failed. You know what? F you. F you, Moon. No one likes you. That's why no one's here anymore. Because you be giving me this BS. Brandon Sanderson says something similar. You should create art because you want to, but if you're trying to do it professionally, you got to practice hitting your deadlines. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing too. I never like create deadlines myself. Well, okay, I create deadlines once I start on a project. It's like starting on the project that's usually my biggest hurdle because you guys have seen my hard drives, right? Like just a backlog of footage that I put off, which I caught up on quite a bit, and I feel like I'm in a good spot now. But that makes it even like more daunting to approach videos too, because like before I finished the the PvP video and the Valheim video and the Lethal Company video or whatever, right? All those videos, I was just sitting here thinking like, holy shit, like I have to like make something of this footage before it's like, it was already like overwhelming just like thinking about it. Let's go to Maku. Yeah, we've been catching up. Yeah. Hell yeah. It's a very German attitude though. He's the weirdo who actually outlines his writing, which is still not the norm for Western writers except Germans. Nope. I feel like, wouldn't most writers like outline their writing in some way? Sorrel, what is going on here? Sorrel, how come I can't catch anything? How you doing? We're doing good. We're just chilling. We've been occult crescenting quite a bit lately, so we've just kind of been chilling the past couple days. But yeah, feeling pretty good. Getting videos finished and all that, you know. Just doing some moon stuff. Haven't been on the moon in a while. Sorrel, I swear to bejesus, Sorrel. Sorrel! Dude, F the moon, man. I can't be here. Why? Why'd this do it to me? Most writers lean more towards making shit up as you go versus having a plan. You can see this in our TV shows. I have a plan, Arthur. Tahiti, Arthur. So I'm kind of like that. Usually how, like, you know, my work process when I create videos is very much dependent on me combing through footage, especially if I haven't touched. Oh my god, we finally got something. Let's freaking go. Holy crap, we did it. Actually completed a mission like a boss. Like I always like create my intros, and I usually have a strong idea for what I want to do for the intro as far as what I'm going to say and like actually do like with the editing. But then when it comes to the bulk of it, I usually have to comb through the footage, find interesting pieces, marry them up. Like I think you guys have seen, I don't know if this is, do I have anything here? What is this? This is like repo. This is like when I was combing through the repo footage, right? I have this clip section where I'm like cutting out clips or copying clips and putting them into certain categories. Like I have an ALK category, I have an alien category, right? And then that's when I can start like with the raid video, right? I had my Valley Garmonda section, but within that section there was square to circle, the nipple, right? Different things where it's like, okay, like these are like strong talking points within this that I can use to create a script around. Commence. Stephen King is the complete opposite. He used the power of cocaine to fuel his productive period. Yes. Cocaine strong. Let's catch these bitches. Dude, I'm still so curious. Like, I think about it sometimes. I'm like, what percent of the population has like tried drugs, like hard drugs? What percent of the population has tried cocaine? I bet it's higher than you would think, TBH. Right? Probably. I think it's definitely higher than you would. Your guess is like 6%. Or drugs? Hard drugs or cocaine specifically? And I'm not saying is like an active user. I'm just saying has tried it just at some point in their life. Yeah, like not being offered, like actually like used it. It went up your nasal passage or on your gums or up through your ass. Usage. You know? 6%. What would a quick Google search tell me? I'm just kind of curious about that. I know it's your guess. What percentage? Okay. Let's just see what Google has to say. What percentage of the world population has tried cocaine? Let's see, dude. I can't catch anything. It's difficult to pinpoint. Yeah. Okay. AI is telling me estimates from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime suggest that about 0.3 to 1% of the world's population have used cocaine at some point. Like, when you look at the numbers like that, that's a lot of people. But I feel like it's gotta be higher than that. You know what I mean? Six through... Yeah, I was just thinking of, like, the world in general. Yeah, I think depending on, like, your actual demographic, it'll change, right? Yeah, well that's why I was just thinking about it as, like, you know, drugs in general, like a hard drug in general. Or we could expand it to, okay, I mean, like, weed is... Yes! Dude, I love this mission. I never doubted this mission in the first place. This mission is great. Did I finish my dailies? I already finished my dailies. Look at that. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. Okay, we did our fishing. We done our fishing. We'll go teleport back somewhere. We're gonna go chill somewhere. We need to bring back cocaine and Coca-Cola. How much did they actually, like, put in there? Like, was it like a noticeable, like a tangible amount that someone would actually feel something? I guess maybe that was like their whole shtick back then, perhaps. Post that up. By the way, y'all, any other I could chill for like 30 more minutes or something. It's already 11, but relaxing today. Dodgeball was here. I was kind of watching some Dodgeball in the background. Free, guys, I'm telling you, free YouTube movies. Just go click on a couple and it'll start recommending you some. You're probably gonna find something that you might be like, hey, I haven't seen this in like 20 years. It would be kind of interesting to just like have it on the background or something. K-pop Demon Hunters. Holy crap. Jesus. Do you think they were hearing me talk? Do you think the algorithm was listening to me talking about Randy Marsh's The Warrior of Light? The Road to El Dorado, guys. Oh my gosh. I haven't seen that movie in like 20 something years. Right? Isn't that crazy? Ain't that freaking crazy? We watched a lot of trailers the other day. Was there anything else that we forgot to watch? Or like, is there like any game trailers out there? What's the new and exciting coming out? I feel like I saw something about The Witcher 4. Wasn't there some news about that coming out or something? Oh, they have a tech demo. They have a tech demo for The Witcher 4. This one's 16 minutes long. Why is this 16? What am I missing? Have y'all played the Witcher series? At all? I unironically think the algorithm is listening to me as well. Yes. State of Unreal. God, The Witcher... I played the whole Witcher series. Witcher 3. Great game. And we're gonna make it ultra 4K, 8K, 20,000K.
The plowing plonker. Break me pearlies on this blasted pit-ridden tract.
It's a tech demo. So it's not like the game will exactly look like this, right?
Where's Fear not Gyro?
The devil! I mean, I'm not really surprised by how it looks. I feel like there's so many games that just look so good these days, you know? That guy's surely gonna be okay. It does look very nice, though. Look at those coins. Look at the physics. He should have tossed all those coins to his Witcher. That's a big boy. Yeah, this is new dude. You like the coloring? Yeah, it looks good. It's a very dark scene, right? So we can see also what it looks like in like a daytime setting, perhaps later, right? Yo! He just wanted to smooch, I think. And look at that glisten. Look at the little flowers. Compiling shaders. It's Siri!
So,
Siri's badass. I like Siri.
almost had me fooled, Fruin.
I need to turn this up a little bit for you guys. Are we gonna play this before Elden Ring, guys? It looks a bit blander in the daytime.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome to
Still
the
think it
State
looks
of
very
Unreal
nice.
at Unreal Fest Orlando. We're here to show you what's next with Unreal Engine and so much more. We are thrilled that you're able to join us. Thank you. But first things first, I'm here with Sebastian and Kitek from CD Projekt Red.
CD
We
Projekt
have a lot to
Red!
talk about. Hey guys.
Y'all remember Cyberpunk?
Thank you, Wyatt. Thank you, Wyatt, and hello, everyone. With The Witcher 4, we're stepping things up. And to do that, we needed the right partner. One that truly understands that great open-world games are all about art and technology coming together.
I didn't buy you the
look, our
hurdy-gurdy.
goals are completely aligned here. And around the launch of UE5, your awesome team at CD Projekt Red announced a collaboration to make open-world
Sorella H2O, you have a good night.
development in Unreal even better. And it's an opportunity, we just couldn't pass it up. So we've been working on a technical demo together to achieve just that. I think we should take a look at it. You guys ready?
Born ready. Kitek is going to play the build for us.
Sure, let's do it.
Technical presentation, not actual
This is a
gameplay.
technological showcase set in the world of The Witcher 4. What you just saw and are going to see now is running on a standard PlayStation 5 at 60 FPS with ray tracing. So in the game,
I have
you'll
one
be
of those.
playing as Ciri, a professional monster slayer, a witcher. She explores the world and hunts down monsters for coin.
It looks good,
The
right?
region we are in is called Kovir, and you'll get to explore it in a game. Right now, Ciri is investigating a monster, and after gathering new clues, she is heading back to a nearby village.
Hold up. Why isn't Dune Awakening on your Steam wishlist, Kev? Wait, are any of you gonna play Dune Awakening? I was actually kind of curious about it. I read a little bit into it. It seems like it's more of like a PvP kind of game, I suppose. Maybe, right? Like a, I don't know, like a Rust thing or not that I played Rust, right? It did kind of spark my interest, but I don't know.
All right, everyone, meet Kelpie.
My computer's dying. Kelpie!
Let weeds be weeds, Kelpie.
So just like Geralt had wrote,
Yo, look at
Ciri
that
has
hair.
her own loyal companion.
We return to town.
These two characters need to feel like one. Since you're gonna explore the world on horseback, riding needs to feel seamless, natural, and just fun.
Yeah, and to support that,
I feel like this horse looks really good. Like I'm looking at like things like the cloak here and like the hair on this horse and you know the fabric and stuff.
we're introducing multi-character motion matching in Unreal. So Ciri and Kelpie, they're perfectly synchronized when mounting from any angle and speed. And we also support root motion movement on Kelpie, so controlling her feels realistic and grounded. And there are also some really nice improvements to our Unreal Chaos Flesh Solver and these machine-learned deformations. So you've got realistic muscles moving and stretching under Kelpie's skin without compromising the performance there.
Whoa, 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 whoa. My bad. Man, we getting fancy.
So let's leave Ciri behind for a second and talk about the
Buzzword,
world
buzzword,
itself.
buzz.
So much of the Witcher world is natural, organic, especially Kovir with its dense forest and wild nature.
Yeah, and wild nature is hard. And with nanite geometry, we've freed artists from so many of their old...
I feel like I've heard this nanite thing before. I feel like I've watched a video about it. It has to do with like the amount of polygon, like the polygons and shit, right? Or something like that, right? Supposed to be like really efficient or something. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. That was a strange Twitch error. I said I was interested in Dune. I don't know if you caught that. I was interested in Dune. I looked kind of into it, and apparently it's like a PvP game, like a Rust game or something. Even though I never played Rust, that's kind of like the vibe I got. I'm not quite sure. I don't know how many of you. It sounds like Noel said he'd be interested. I don't. I'm assuming you're interested. I don't know.
constraints. But we don't want to rest until everything we do in Unreal has that same spirit of freedom. There's always more work to do. And foliage is a huge piece of that
I
puzzle.
love me some foliage.
So we are excited to introduce nanite foliage.
Oh, I feel like I've seen this. When I was looking like some video about nanite, and they showed like a view like this, like a render view like this of some sort, and you could see like the little triangles and stuff.
And in order to achieve gorgeous foliage density,
That water
everywhere,
looks very
while
nice.
Still being memory efficient, fast to render, we believe that a new idea was needed.
There's a
So
bear.
instead of the same card approach we've been using for the past 20 years, artists should be free to take a nanite approach to foliage, modeling every single leaf and pine needle. And the old LOD tricks of the past, they needed a complete rethink. And in their place, it's a new adaptive voxel representation in nanite. It's volumetric, it's fully 3D, it is super fast to render.
I think I have just a little bit more appreciation for something like this, even though I don't completely wrap my head around it, but just because of my time just messing around in Blender, and me like, you know, having those like this one tree in a scene that just like completely tanked the performance of my workspace in Blender because of just, you know, the amount of polygons and shit in that tree. You know what I mean? And then I remember like, you know, looking up techniques about how people would, in Blender at least, you know, create dense, you know, areas, you know, populations of trees and whatnot with minimal impact to performance and, you know, ways to improve that efficiency.
And these dense clusters of triangles turn into these cubes, which at a distance, they're no larger than a pixel, and they react to the changing light of our dynamic sun and our shadows, and they allow artists to render whatever amount of foliage is needed to achieve their vision without compromise.
And no compromise means how ambitious we are when it comes to bringing our vision to life with incredible visuals. But more than that, together with Epic, we created faster way to load the world. We can now bring in more content more quickly for the smoothest possible experience as we fly down to catch up with Ciri.
I feel like this just looks gorgeous, but we get to see some buildings and stuff now. I aim to someday understand what Acerola says in their videos. Oh, I've watched a couple of those videos. Yeah.
Welcome to Valdrest. So Valdrest is a port town, a hub for fishing, trade, and mining.
Okay,
It's one
so
of those places.
one of the things that I really liked about The Witcher 3, I remember, was like their big like towns, or at least like, you know, places where people are living, right? But especially like their big cities. Like I remember there being, I forget the name of the city, but I feel like I remember there being like just so many like NPCs in there. just like going about and just doing whatever they're programmed to do. But that's what I really like about games like this, where it just feels like alive in that sense, you know?
Places where you can meet shady characters or overhear gossip from other lands. It's also where Ciri took on her current contract.
Like, yeah, like the little touch like that lady throwing like the waste over the bridge and whatnot. Like, it's those like little minor touches that just make it feel like, ooh, you know, this person.
Let's leave
Yeah.
Kelpie here and explore the marketplace and food.
And the missus?
I'm so excited we can finally show you some of this stuff. Let's see what Valdres has to offer.
Whoa, that was rude. Y'all ever see The Revenant? Now, okay, so this is a tech demo. Like this, the way that things are like moving and the way like Ciri's like, you know, interacting, this feels like a cutscene, right? Right? And not like exactly what would happen if you were playing this. But apparently the guy's playing right now.
Pardon.
Guys, notice how responsive the world is.
Is he okay? Is this dude actually playing? Like, is Ciri like actually like interacting? Is this fake? Is this all for show or what?
Character actions directly affect what happens around you. Sometimes
This
even
is
setting
movements.
off chain reactions. Everything is working together. Oh, look at this poor gentleman being taught how to fly
Toss
by
the
an
coin.
ancient innkeeper.
Right? Doesn't this feels like a cutscene, right? The only reason why I'm not saying this is super fake is because CDPR has put off some crazy things. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the camera walk wobble was absolutely player weirdness. Wait, there was a camera walk wobble? Like, maybe I didn't notice. I was looking at the controls for quite a while. Still hardly real. I believe it's player control. Right. There's like a sense of like preparedness for this, right? Not that I'm like complaining. I'm just kind of curious because I feel like for a lot of games, right, we'll see some like really cool looking demo. I guess maybe they'll call it like a tech demo or like a trailer. And you know, the things that they show in there are like not great representations of what the actual gameplay will be like. That's why I always like looking at actual like gameplay trailers to see, so you get a vibe. Like, you know, even something like didn't the new Grand Theft Auto trailer, didn't they say that was made using like the in-game like engine? So whatever was shown would kind of be like representative of what the in-game engine would look like. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not that impressed. This is built to show off. Once you actually play, you'll get immediately used to random 4 tricks they do over and over again. I feel like a video game instantly. Yeah, I know, but it still looks really cool nonetheless. But that's what I'm saying, right? That's why I like to see some sort of gameplay demo at some point, so you can kind of get a sense for that too.
That's what happens when you cheat at Gwent.
He cheated at Gwent. How could he? Ooh, hello.
Okay, so this is the guy who gave the series quest his own. Like you probably
You guys want
suspect,
subtitles?
he has his own agenda in all of this.
You're off your tits again, Wilfred. Get your ass up.
Still looks very
A
nice.
typical day's toil.
Who in? With Churus. What news of my wagons?
Okay, this
My
isn't.
eternity is taken to
These aren't
damn
great
souls
subtitles, I
alive.
suppose.
I found them. And, well, suffice to say, they'll not reach you. As for the salt, I found not one speck. I presume this comes as no surprise to you. Now. Kavir's smuggling trade.
I
is
feel
enough.
like when I'm watching her speak and like the way her face is like moving as she speaks, I feel like that looks really good. Is this representative of what it looked like in the game? I don't know. In cutscenes, maybe, but doesn't it look like kind of good? Like really good. I feel like there's been a lot of improvement in this over the years, just in general. You'll see it here and there. I feel like it looks cool. Like it looks cool to me.
Concern to me.
Shush, shush, shush.
The manticore that flattened your cart and devoured your men. Quite the opposite.
Manticore. No, them winged hellspawn dwell in the arse end of Creighton, not here.
While Siri decides what to do about that merchant, let's take a look at the character technology that powers this marketplace.
It's dapped up
Why
right
don't we
there.
listen in on these fishmongers? They're selling their wares, chatting up customers.
Morning catch this is. Won't find none fresher.
Reckon you ladies after one of them.
Eesh.
Get this cleaned and gutted for you. You mind, dearest? Interesting, some and more. Got mackerel cod, all Brexit's finest.
And there is tons of tech at play here, even in this simple market stall. Metahuman tools, improved Unreal smart objects, chaos cloth, and more.
Yeah, and all of this exists to make sure that the gap in quality between Siri and NPCs is as small as possible.
Yeah, and closing that gap, it's not just about fidelity, right, but also authenticity. They should react to changes in the world around them.
But the prisoner in pillory isn't exciting enough for Valdrest. Let's grab everyone's attention with a circus.
Wait, so was he actually controlling the character at one point? How did we go from him control? How did that? So he wasn't actually controlling the character, right? Because we went from that all the way to here. I don't know how that works. I don't know, man. I'm curious. And it looks good though. It looks gorgeous. I'm just
There's
curious.
a huge crowd though. Let's
I'm
crank it up.
curious.
So you are seeing tons of optimizations here to many of Unreal's systems, including an entirely new Unreal animation framework, allowing us to fit easily in our 60 FPS budget, not just in rendering, but also with room to spare on the game thread. Over 300 animated skeletal mesh agents all going about their business. And the whole point is to leave breathing room for developers like you to introduce the gameplay and the systems that your players expect, empowering you to make your worlds come to life without Unreal standing in your way.
Wait, I also
You're
have
right.
to remember, right? Like, this isn't necessarily a Witcher showcase. It's an Unreal, even though, like, I guess Witcher's being built in that. But this is, right? They're not trying to necessarily show off the Witcher. They're trying to show off the engine, right? The only people I trust to actually build an immersive, holy shit, how much fucking effort did they put in this thing is Rockstar. Yeah. Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, their world building was great there. Look at this Hitman level. Taking all this with the enormous mountain of salt because their promises in Cyberpunk was so far off the mark, it was like a Fable game. That is true, right? That's what I'm trying to remind myself. This isn't necessarily a Witcher showcase. It's the engine showcase, just using Witcher assets, I suppose. Which, you know, maybe can translate in some way, but and it's also just a tech demo. It's not. I'm going in. I went into this thinking like, oh, this is what I'm going to see what The Witcher is going to play like.
That's the open
Hopefully,
world
there's
RPG that
some
making.
good carryover.
But before we wrap up, how about one final check-in with Siri?
Now let's check in with Siri. It
We
looks.
are making this game to be the most immersive and ambitious open world Witcher game ever. And we are making this a reality thanks to our work on Unreal with the team at Epic.
I mean, what I
think
see
what
here
we're
looks
doing
good.
together is going to bring in a new generation of open world RPGs, and I'm so proud of what we accomplished so far.
We are too.
So we're almost done, but before we go, here's a small gift for all Witcher fans. A first look at La Nexeta.
I'm excited about the audio design, the music, and everything. Love me some good audio.
With what?
The Witcher 4. Okay, so there's There's a lot of games that I'm like looking forward to playing at some point in my life, right? Elden Ring being one of them, which we've talked about quite a bit. But there's also you know, Elder Scrolls, the new Elder Scrolls coming out whenever. The Witcher 4, I'm totally down, right? You know, games like that. Like that, like when it comes to my core as a gamer, I've always, even though I've played a lot of different games, different genres, at my core, I've always loved me some good RPGs, especially of like the open world variety. I've always loved shit like that, and I just hope when I eventually, which I surely will play at some point, that I will just have a good time, which I'm sure I will, right? I don't need, look, this looks really great, but I don't need the fancy schmancy, right? Right? You know, played a bunch of Bethesda games, which I just love playing. Like, I played all that jank. I just want to go on an adventure, you know? Just go on a grand epic tale. That's what I want. Fentanyl! Oh boy. Why does fentanyl feel so good? That's a great question. Dude, they were listening to us talking about drugs earlier. I swear, oh my god, technology, man. They're listening to every single thing that we're saying right now. Holy shit. Have I seen Crimson Desert? I haven't seen Crimson Desert. I'll plug it in here, but I won't necessarily watch it right now because it's a little bit late. What the hell is Crimson Desert? Okay, we can watch this next time. Here, I'll just put this on my history. So, remind me next time I like doing this. Remind me the next time we peruse the YouTubes here. Dude, they were listening to us talking about drugs. I can't believe they went that far. I can believe it, actually. But we didn't talk about fentanyl. Even though fentanyl is like the thing right now, right? But, you know, right of the Rohirrim. Anyway. The Witcher 4. I'm excited for The Witcher 4. I like me The Witcher. Yeah. Okay, y'all. Well, it's been a very productive evening, I feel like. It's been great hanging out with y'all. Frank Reynolds in Cyberpunk 2077. Yes. That was that channel, the Eli Handel B-Wave channel. This is the one that inspired me. One of the ones, but the main one that inspired me to do the Randy Marsh video. I haven't watched this channel in a hot second, but every now and then it'll pop up on my feed. So we'll see. We'll see how these games come out. I feel like there's just so, like, for a lot of these games, there's just so much hype build up to that it's hard to meet those expectations. It depends on the developer and publishers, like track records too. Like there's certain, you know. But yeah, but for me, like Rockstar, you know, when I think of Rockstar, I think rock solid, baby. Silk Song will save the world. Okay, y'all have a good night though. And yeah, thanks for hanging out and listening to me talk about stuff. Y'all have a good one. I have clips on TikTok now. If any of you are on TikTok, I have clips on TikTok. You can relive our best moments on TikTok. Woo! Let's go. Bye bye.